Hey everyone, what's going on? Thank you so much for taking your time out to check out this live stream. And today I'm joined by two awesome people in this brand new segment I'm bringing to my channel. And if you're unfamiliar and you're just tuning in live now and you have no recollection of any posts or anything that I've done, this is a brand new series I'm going to be bringing to my channel, which is called Cinema Horror Stories, where I'm going to have like different guests on each time I do a volume. And basically we're going to talk about all things cinemas in terms of like snack prices, ticket prices, people's experience at the movies, people who experience movies in like the 80s or even before that time and compared to now. And today it's going to be very interesting because firstly, we've got Anthony A. Perez joining us, who used to work at a cinema. So Anthony, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on for the first installment of this series. Yeah, I got so many stories as a moviegoer, and yeah, like you mentioned, as somebody who worked at a theater for a while. I worked at 2 different theaters, so I have plenty of stories just from those 2 different theaters.
Wow. Well, we're going to be getting into that very shortly. I'm excited because I think, because me and Anthony like talk basically every day. I think you've shared like little snippets, but nothing major. So I'm excited to see what you've got in store. And Rashad, my man, we've got Rashad G joining us once again, who has been on quite a few collaborations with me and also live streams. Rashad, have you ever worked at a cinema before?
Never, but I feel like I should have. because there was a time in my life, especially when I lived in Seattle, I was in the movies like every day because that's all there was to do out there because it rained every day. So I was literally at the cinema every day, chopping it up with the ushers and the people that clean the theaters and stuff. So I was like an unofficial employee there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Word. Cool. So you got a lot of experience and a lot of stories, I can imagine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, firstly, I just want to take the time just to thank my guests for joining me today in this volume 1. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Before we get into the horror stories, Rashad, I'm going to start with you. What is your first ever movie you ever remember seeing at the cinema?
At the cinema, Return of the Jedi. 3 years old, my first ever memory. I mean, I don't remember like the actual movie itself. I just remember waiting in line with my parents. And it was like one of the only few times I remember my parents getting along. Because if you put them in the same room today, somebody's not coming out alive. But just waiting in line and just going inside and seeing like R2 like rolling around and 3PO, like it was an event. You know what I'm saying? The Vader mascot was walking around. It was just crazy, man. And I remember because at the time, this was like during the beginning times of the multiplex. But I remember at one point it was just like one screen, but it was like so big, like everybody was in there. So we was like at the main one. And I just remember everybody applauding at certain parts, and specifically when Vader threw the Emperor over the ledge, and everybody stood up and cheered. And I still remember that at 3 years old. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my first one of the best experiences ever. That's when I fell in love with Star Wars and movies. Period.
Damn, man, I wish I could have experienced that in the movies. I mean, over here in the UK, they've never done any re-showings of like the old Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. They've only ever shown like obviously from Phantom Menace onwards here in the UK, and like never as a re-showing. So yeah, man, pretty cool story, especially.
So even with the special, they didn't screen the special editions either, because like I think '97 they did the. Wait a minute, I forgot. You guys are a lot younger than me though.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I know that they had the worldwide release of the special editions when those got screened in like around 97, 98.
Yes, around 97. Yeah, because they released them all like about I think a month apart. So they did New Hope first, and after a few weeks, then Empire. So yeah, Perez, one of the benefits of being an old man. I heard what you said about me in that Harry Potter video, bro. So like, yeah, Rashad, he's an older guy. Oh, I'm an older guy. Okay, keep living.
He went there.
What I meant was that you're older, so you didn't grow up with Harry Potter.
Okay, go ahead, clean it up.
And yeah, just for anyone who's joining right now, feel free to leave your first time experiences at the movies and also some horror stories as well. We actually do have one comment, and I'm going to go to Perez. Sophie said, "Are you still live tonight?" And I have a little cinema horror story to share, if that's all right. Well, hey, Sophie, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm still going live tonight on my weekly live stream. This is just a cinema horror story exclusive kind of segment. But yeah, please do share your story in the comments. I'm going to share my first ever cinema experience that I remember. Now, maybe my mum and my dad might be able to kind of recollect early ones, but this is the one that I remember. I was maybe about... Well, what year did the Phantom Menace come out?
99.
99. Okay, well, I was 9 years old when that came out. And I'd never seen any Star Wars movies before then. Usually as a kid, I was raised on Toy Story a lot, and I just seen that over and over and over again. But yeah, I remember actually seeing the Phantom Menace, and I fell asleep. And I know Perez is sitting there thinking, what's this guy doing? Like, why am I on the screen? But in my defense, though, I was 9 years old. I was very young. I had a long day at school, and we went to like an extremely late show at night time. But I have seen the movie since, and I think it gets a lot of hate it does not deserve. That is one of my actual personal favorite Star Wars movies.
That's a good way to clean it up.
Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. So the Phantom Menace that I remember is my first ever cinema experience. So Perez, what about you, man?
The funny that you say that. Mine was also the Phantom Menace. I saw it. I was 1 month shy of being 6 years old. And bro, I remember it so well. I remember that experience. I remember just being completely engulfed in what was happening. Hey, D Movie Man, I'm uploading our Jaws review right now, dude. But yeah, so I just remember that experience being absolutely incredible. The music, seeing a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, like for the first time on the big screen as a kid. At that point, Star Wars had already been a part of my life because my mom and my dad were fans, and my mom's like a really big fan even to this day still. We've shared a lot of Star Wars experiences together. So yeah, as a kid, I feel like Star Wars was ingrained in me. I can never answer the question of when it was the first time I ever saw Star Wars because it was just always ingrained in me. So going to the movie, I already knew what I was like in for to an extent. Obviously, I didn't really grasp the fact that it was a prequel as much, just yet because I was too young, but I was having a great time. I remember people cheering for Darth Maul at the end when he ignites the double lightsabers. I just remember the score and just everything just being so crazy. And I was there opening weekend because my parents wanted to go. I went with my mom, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I remember seeing that movie in the opening weekend like 5 times. And there was times I just remember seeing it over the course of its time, including one time that I specifically remember that my dad and I have brought up a couple times that we were just strolling one night. And he was like, hey, do you want to go to the movies? I said, yeah, let's go see the Phantom Menace again.
Right.
And we both fell asleep. So like that was just like one random time I remember going to see it. But yeah, that's like one of my earliest memories of like that little season of time, like going to the movies multiple times to see the Phantom Menace. Before that, a story I can share is that my mom always tells me about like when I was like, I don't know, almost 2 or about 2 when The Lion King came out. And she took me to go see The Lion King. That intro played, Circle of Life. And the second it ended and the title for Lion King popped up, I was like, all right, let's go. Like I was like ready to go from what I remember, just like from what she's told me. But of course, I don't remember that at all. But my first memory in the theater was the Phantom Menace.
Well, listen, I gotta say, man, yeah, word to the wise, never take a 2-year-old to the movies. All right, I made that mistake with my daughter real quick. I took her to see the first Transformers, 2 years old. And for some reason, somewhere in this crazy brain of mine, I thought that a 2-year-old can handle Transformers. And the moment she saw Megatron and he spoke, scared the shit out of her. We had to leave. Like she clung to me like flies to shit, and she was like, "Daddy, I'm scared." I said, "Quit acting like a little girl, man. It's only." I'm like, "Shit, she is a little girl." So I had to stand up with her still clinging on me, and we walked out. And I got mad. I was talking shit the whole way home to a 2-year-old. I'm like, you know what? I spent $12 for us to go see this movie. You sitting there crying. That's why I'm taking you to your mama. Never take a 2-year-old to the movies. Yeah. So Perez, thank you for sharing that because I had to put that out there, man.
That's awesome. But I love how our first experience at the cinema that we all remember is seeing a Star Wars movie. I think that's pretty cool. Me and Perez the same movie, and obviously Rashad, as Cinematic was saying, Rashad bringing the experience age in the panel. So Cinematic making enemies every day.
Keep living.
I've got D Movie Man just saying, hey all, can't wait for the Fury. Well, it's just about getting into that. So we've got that. And then we've also got another comment here. And then Video Tasties, hey man, how you doing? He says, I try to go to the Thursday opener night as it's always empty and no nuisance kids. Only exception was Endgame, which was packed. Yeah, Endgame. But we're not here to talk about good cinema experiences. That's for another live stream. We're actually here to get into the nitty-gritty and the horror story. So firstly, I want to take it over to Perez real quick because, as you mentioned before, you've worked at 2 movie theaters. I don't want you to mention the names, anything like that of those chains. But how long did you work for those theaters?
So I worked for the same company. I mean, I don't mind saying it unless you don't want me to. But what's it called? I worked for the same chain, the same brand, for like from I believe it was from late 2014 till about mid 2016. I
Okay.
was living in two different towns. I was living in South Florida at one point, and then I moved up to Central Florida, which is where I'm at right now. And yeah, that was a cool experience to work at two different theaters. The first one I was still really new. I feel like I was kind of just the new guy most of my time there, and then I became the
Right.
new guy again. But then I became more established at the second location, which is where I feel a little bit more at home. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, I had so many crazy experiences. Whether it was fun, great experiences, like talking to guests who were coming in excited to see a new Marvel movie that I'd already seen, and they were like hyped and talking to me. I could hype them up at the popcorn stand going in. Or there's times like this one time where this dude was about to punch me in the face because he was high on some sort of, I think he was high on meth, if I'm not mistaken, is what the police ended up telling us. And this
Shit.
dude like came down, storming down the hallway, and me and another coworker were sitting there, and we just hear this loud noise. We go around the corner to see this guy, and he was kicking the wall. So I asked him like, "Yo, you good?" And he got like really close to me, and I was ready to throw hands. Like I saw it in his face, like this was about to go down. So I kind of had to just be prepared. Then his friend came around the corner and like came around the corner fast, like he was looking for this guy. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," like pulling his friend back into the theater. Well, the guy goes around the corner and then decks his friend in the face. So his friend saved me from getting punched. I'll say that. Like his friend ends up getting punched in the
Wow.
face. Then he ends up going and kicking, like, those things that are around like the entrance of a lot of theaters that may have like LED lights. Maybe there's kind of like a little
Yeah.
bit of a glass, kind of depending on the
Mhm.
theater. Yeah, this dude kicked through a couple of those. And then the police came, they tased him, and he fell over and then he got back up. I mean, this dude was wired, man. Eventually he ended up, getting taken down and getting arrested. But I have stories like that, or the one time that this dad came into the theater and came to me and goes, "Hey, do you know what time this movie ends?" I can't remember what movie it was. He goes, "Do you remember what time this movie ends?" Oh, I go, "Oh, that ended like 40 minutes ago." He was like, "Oh, well, I was supposed to pick up my daughter and she hasn't reached out to me." And then he ended up finding out what theater she was in and had me go with them with the police officer to see where his daughter was, because he was like searching for her. She wasn't responding to him. Turns
Right.
out that she was in there with this guy, and we caught them mid sexual activity. My man's pants were down, and she was doing the deed. And the funniest part about it is that
Oh.
there was two couples. So there was the guy and this girl, and these were teenagers. So there was the guy and this dad's daughter, and then another girl and another guy. When the cop put the flashlight, and mind you, theater was empty. It was like a kids movie they snuck into. I can't remember what kids movie. I want to say it was the Emoji Movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you
Um,
serious?
but like I could be wrong, but it was some animated film. And they turned the flashlight on, and they had it pressed on them, and I'm seeing what's happening, and I'm seeing what's happening as I'm walking up with the officer and this father who's seeing this happening. Like there's this is a moment that's happening here. This is a moment that I'm experiencing with this man who's witnessing his daughter going down on this gentleman. And yeah, so then what's funniest about it is that the officer puts the flashlight on the guy, and I think the guy thought that it was his friend with their phone or something, like with like filming it or something. So he starts doing like the middle finger to like the cop, like thinking that it was his friend. And then the cop turns the flashlight off, and I mean the dude's face just turned like straight fear, straight fear. At that point, I just saw myself out. Like at that point, once all this was going on, the cop was getting involved. The dad starts yelling at the daughter. I'm like, I kind of looked at him, gave him a face of like, and I just walked right out of the theater. So I mean, I could keep going. I have so many, but that's those are two crazy stories I could start off with.
Wait a minute, Perez. I don't think you
Yeah.
realize what just happened just now, man. I don't think you realize, bro. This needs to be a fucking series on your channel, man. If you can, if you can somehow get like, I mean, I'm visualizing this, bro. As you're telling the story, this needs to be like an animated series almost, man, where you're narrating while the animation is happening, bro. You gotta make that happen, man. Yeah, Perez's true
Right.
theater stories, man.
Maybe I'll have to do that. This will have inspired it.
yeah, that's fucking amazing.
That's an awesome story, and I agree with Rashad. I think if you to start like a series of that on your channel, I think that would be a hit. because man, I mean, like as me and like Rashad, like moviegoers, we don't see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You know, we just see the movie and get out. You know, whereas you have to stick around or clean the mess up, or whatever the case should be. Very quickly got a comment here from Cinematic saying, "I knew the emoji movie had subliminal message." Yeah, absolutely. I just want to comment, throw in another couple of comments, and we're going to hand it over to Rashad.
Okay.
D Movie Man says, I agree with Mike as well. The film had to get like Phantom Menace gets a lot of flack, but I enjoyed it immensely. It was my introduction to Star Wars. I ended up getting VHS deluxe set when it was released, so that's pretty cool. We've got my brother actually said his first cinema experience was in America. He went to see Mirrors, and he remembered the movie theater being so hot he ended up watching 3/4 of the movie in his underpants, and the movie sucked.
Wow.
I don't think he's having the situation, but here we go. And we've got Jamie Lee saying, "Hey guys, glad I could tune in live. We have beds here, so that would have been super convenient for any couple, Anthony."
It's a good thing we didn't have beds here. That would have been a problem.
That's one of the greatest stories ever.
And D Movie Man's got a name for Anthony's series, Theater Trauma: The Confessions
Trauma
of
Theater.
Anthony
Yes. I will tune in every week to see that.
I like that a lot.
I think that's a pretty good one. And Sophie's just shared a cinema story saying, it's only a quick story, but when her and the other half went to see X recently, there was a guy laughing. I don't mean like giggling to himself. She meant full obnoxiously laughing throughout the entire movie. Rashad,
that probably was me. That probably was me. Because there was a particular scene that was so ridiculous. I just bust out laughing like loud. So talking about theater etiquettes, man, I'm guilty of it myself.
I have a really funny.
I was about to say, I remember in your review, you went to see X and you were like saying that you couldn't help but laugh through it.
I was laughing hysterically. Yeah, so that might have been me. Hell, we might have been in the same theater, girl.
Who knows?
that was a theater that I was definitely laughing in a lot myself. But I have a really funny story of that day specifically. Have you seen X, Mike?
Man, you know my relationship with A24.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, this isn't really a big deal. In the movie, who is it? Is it Kodak Black that's in the movie, or Kid Cudi?
Hey, Tyler.
Kid Cudi.
I can't remember these names. Yeah. So Kid Cudi's in the movie. He plays like the guy who they're all sleeping with in this movie. It's about like filming porn. He's the black bull, so he's got to have the big junk. Right. There was only 2 black people in this whole theater when I went to go see it. It was the big Rob theory. Rob, he was there sitting a couple seats next to me, and then the one other black dude sitting next to him. There's this scene where this one guy's girlfriend now wants to be part of the porn, and like he's the guy filming the scene, and he has to watch his girl now be a part of this scene with this big black hulking man whose penis they show is ginormous. And out of the second that scene happens, this dude starts crying in the movie, like the character starts crying, and Rob and this one dude are the only people in the theater just cracking up, just like busting out laughing. And I just thought it was hilarious. It was so funny. Like everybody in the theater was silent except for Rob and this one other black dude. I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, dude, because the movie was it was ridiculous, man. Like, I don't even know what to say about that, man. That movie was crazy.
Ridiculous is the best thing you could say.
Yeah.
I'll have to give you guys my opinion when I do check out that movie. But who knows when. Rashad, Sophie was saying that she lives in the UK, so it wasn't you laughing at her.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, I'm going to hand it straight over to Rashad now. So we've heard a little bit about Perez's experience working at the cinema. Rashad, just from top of your memory, what would you say is your worst ever experience you've had in a movie theater?
Worst experience, I have to say Aquaman, because I love Aquaman the movie, but yeah, I took my daughter to see it, right? And I'm not trying. This is not racist at all. He was an Indian guy, he was an Indian dude sitting next to my daughter. So it was myself, my daughter, and this Indian guy. And he had on a mask, mind you. This is before the pandemic, but he had on like a COVID mask, and he was like in fetal position with his butt tooted up in the air next to us, and the guy was farting the whole movie. So as we're trying to enjoy Aquaman fight Black Manta, I'm smelling curry and turmeric and God knows what else. And of course, I can't hit the guy and say, "Hey, man, stop farting," because it's a public place. But he just kept going, and my daughter kept looking at me, and my daughter looks like me when she gets like upset, like her face kind of turns, her cheeks start drooping, and she's like, "Daddy, I can't take this. I said, baby, we only have like an hour and 50 minutes to go. It's okay. But it was just the worst, man. The guy just would not stop farting. And he late, like a couple times I thought he was dead. I wanted to poke him with a stick, like, what the, bro, like, are you okay? And even after the movie was over with, we got up and he was still laying there. So why the fuck would you come to the movie jacked up like that? Yeah, so I've had a few bad ones, but that was probably the worst. That's it in that song.
Man, that's horrific. I don't know how you could have sat there and took that.
Well, I think she smelled it more than me. Like, I didn't smell it that bad. Like, a couple of times I would get hit with some turmeric, but then other than that, you know, she got the worst of it. Yeah, she got the. I can hear that. That is racist, my friend. It's not racist. A lot of them motherfuckers take turmeric. I take turmeric. It's okay, you know.
So was this guy sat in this position before the movie even started as well?
Yeah, like as soon as we sat down, he was laid up there like a newborn baby. I'm like, first of all, who the hell would let him in? And why would you come to the movie theater like that? I never seen him one time look up at the screen. He laid there the whole time, fucked up. Yeah, it beats me.
I don't know how I'm going to top that story.
Listen. Nah, Perez got the best story, man. That's some of the best shit I've ever heard, man.
That is a funny one.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys about my experience at Jungle Cruise?
I feel like you mentioned, is that the one where it was really hot?
No. So that was probably the most recent one. Forever Purge, that one. Literally the whole movie just. I've got a question for you guys very quickly. Would you rather go to the movies and be like sweating, or would you rather go to the movies be freezing cold the entire movie?
Freezing.
I'd rather be freezing cold, yeah. Because I could always bring a blanket and just like, you know. Yeah.
This Tigerian turmeric.
That's what it smelled like, man. I mean, I'll just call it how I see it.
And so I've got an eating disorder. People eating strong, smelly food near me in the cinema would finish her off.
Oh, she would. Well, I have a story about that too. Yeah, she would hate me.
Yeah. Oh man, the worst. Like so.
Yeah.
And we've also got videos here saying here that as soon as this was cinema experience, people were too scared to eat their snacks or make a noise. There's nothing worse because I've been to a couple of movies myself. I've been like, right, I'm really in the mood for popcorn, but then it's like the most silentest movie you'll. Oh, that was it. I took popcorn to the first Quiet Place, and I was like, and by the end of it, my jaw was like, I couldn't feel my jaw. It was
you were trying to be silent, not so loud. Oh,
well, here's a funny story. Speaking of a Quiet Place, actually, so this was on the same thing as with the popcorn, right? So went to see the first Quiet Place, went by myself. And I was about maybe like middle of the cinema, and in front of me was a girl and a guy. There must have been a couple, and they were acting like it, you know, throughout the movie and stuff. So anyway, there was one point where the film was going on, and she went to the toilet, and as she came back, you know, when you guys are watching the movie, obviously people walk in front of the screen and they walk, you know, get to the stairs to get up to their seat, you know, whatever. So I was watching the movie. I was just sat like this, you know, watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, someone sat like right next to me. So I turned and I was like, yeah. And then the girl thought that I was her boyfriend. So she turned to me and she's like probably like give me like a full-on smile like this. And then her boyfriend looked behind and was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Oh shit! I was about to be a rumble.
I was just bursting out laughing, and then she was, and then her boyfriend was like still confused at the same time, being like, "What are you doing?" So she eventually escorted herself down. So that was a bit of a weird story, I guess.
Awkward.
just a little bit. But I would guess one of my worst experiences, and I think I shared this recently, maybe on my 1,000 subscriber special stream. So Jungle Cruise, I'd probably say is like nearly top of my list. So basically what happened was like in the UK, I'm not sure about you guys in America, but we usually tend to have like 20 minutes film trailers, but that includes like their own trailers with the actual film trailers before they start the movie.
Yeah.
So I got there for maybe about 10 minutes 10 minutes into the trailers, and I thought, you know, I've got 10 minutes, I'll go buy a drink or ice cream. I can't remember what I did. And anyway, I got there. and it was a packed screening. And Jungle Cruise is like fairly just like come out, so I was like, it's understandable. And it was a smaller screen as well. So I went in to the row, and I was about maybe 3 rows from the back because I always like trying to sit at the back personally. And there was a man and a woman sat on the end seats on the aisle. Then there was a dad or a guy who seemed like a dad figure. I'll get into that, but basically a bald guy. Then there was 2 empty seats. And then there was 3 girls, like 3 teenage girls. And my seat was next to one of the teenage girls. And then the empty seat was next to this guy. So anyway, I sat down, and straight away the guy was like, "Oh, do you not want to sit next to me?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Well, why would I sit next to you?"
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'll just take this seat, thank you." So anyway, obviously the movie had started by this point. I can't remember what part it was, but the movie had started. And anyway, now this is no word of a lie, right? So the dad would literally every minute, and this was basically true, like maybe every minute. So pretend this light is his phone. He would put his phone down, put his phone on, look at it, lock it, and put it down, right?
The fuck out of me.
Right. So this is the thing, right? So this happened literally like nearly every minute of the movie, right? So I was thinking, like, I'll give it about 5-10 minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna have to say something to this guy, like, just can you respectfully, just put your phone away. But what made it worse is that the girl that I was sat next to was doing the exact same thing.
Oh no!
Right. So every minute of the movie, I had someone like turn the phone on, off, right, and then the girls were chatting to each other. So I was like, I couldn't really hear the movie. I couldn't focus on The Rock or Emily Blunt, and especially Emily Blunt. I couldn't focus on her. And you know it's bad when you can't, right? So I was like, so I was going to be like, right. So I was going to say something to the girl first, and then something to the man, because obviously the girls was like right next to me, and they were like just teenage girls, like when they do chit chatting through movies. However, just as I was about to say something, the guy like leans over like this, as in like looking into this way, and it must have been his daughter, and he was like playing like the cool dad, kind of like separating from his daughter. So I was like, I can't say anything to either of them. I was like, they know each other.
Oh no!
So basically, my experience with the whole movie was just those two on their phones through the entire movie. Like, just yourself, the bright lights is bad enough when it's distracting, but 2 of them on like this side of me, Saturday, I was like, yeah.
I would have had to get up and walk. I would have had to change seats, man. No, I couldn't have handled that.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. So the movies, the screening was packed. Besides the one empty seat next to me and like a seat on the front row, and I'll never sit on the front row. I've done it in the past. I've had a bad neck, so I'm not myself in that position. But yeah, so that's kind of my story.
Well, I asked Perez. I said, okay, I don't sit at the front, but I sit on the row before the front.
Right.
Because I have bad eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. When we went to go see Antlers together, Rashad was like, "Yeah, we're gonna sit over here," and we were like in the 3rd or 4th row of the whole theater. I was like, it's a little closer than I usually like it, but I was like, oh, I'm with it. Once the movie got going, I was lost in it. The last movie I saw that close, I actually saw Everything Everywhere All at Once like that in the 3rd row. So I felt like I was in 3D with this thing. It was like I could see the appeal of watching a movie that close. Like you cannot escape the movie. Like,
well, it's not so much that reason. It's because I have bad eyes, so it's just easier for me to see. And then plus nobody likes to sit there, so 9 times out of 10 I usually have that whole row to myself.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about nobody fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, not just because of that, but I'm just more comfortable there. You know what I mean?
So, but Rashad, like, sitting there like each time, do you never get like a bad neck or anything?
Nah, I guess because I'm used to it. Like, I've been doing that for years, man. So yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. So now I'm used to it by now. But can I share like a worse experience for somebody else other than myself? Just
before you do, I've got a couple of comments I just want to read into your turmeric story. Tyler was saying that guy must have been on some wild drugs.
Some bad shit. Some bad curry.
D-Move Man said he prefers to be freezing. He said, happened when he saw Hateful Eight. Ironically, it helped immerse me in the movie. Most of the characters were freezing to death, and so was he. So Sophie says, tend to buy nachos and eat them before the movie starts. See, I can, but then when the movie starts, you're hungry.
Right.
So I'm just like, I can't. Cinematic says quiet place requires a quiet snack. Well, yeah, but I thought it wasn't going to be as quiet. And Jimmy Lee says, why watch a movie at the cinemas if you just want to jump on your phone the whole time? Yeah,
that
that's
would
definitely
piss me off.
Yeah,
definitely
I
a
can't
stream
stand
theme
that.
of the day. And it's all nonsensical about the phone situation. So yeah, Rashad, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, by all means,
you good.
Sorry about someone else,
Oh yeah, you good. Yeah, this is for my cousin China, who abandoned me a long time ago for YouTube. But
was that the chicken sandwich?
Yeah, okay, so you know the story. Yes. So Avengers Endgame was her worst experience, and I didn't do it purposely, but I was hungry, and I bought a Walmart sandwich, and they can be kind of loud, but I was hungry, so I'm sitting there with this sandwich, and just so happened every time it would get quiet, I would sneak the sandwich out the wrapper, and so you would hear like, and she would look at me like, dude, and I'm sitting there like, what? I'm hungry. Okay, so she's smelling my sandwich, and then the scene where they showed Smart Hulk and people were laughing. So I got mad. I turned and I looked at everybody and like just gave everybody this evil stare. She was like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." So they shouldn't be laughing. That shit ain't funny, man. Okay, that was strike 2, and then strike 3, which you know what? It shouldn't even be a bad theater etiquette because everybody went crazy in this part. You know, when Cap caught the hammer. And I'm the only one in there. Like, I had both hands in the air. I said, he's worthy. I said, Cap is worthy. And she sunk down in her seat. She said, oh my God. she said, I will never go to a movie with you again. Between you and that stink ass sandwich and you screaming like you lost your damn mind, I will never. And I'm like, what? So yeah, she wanted me to share that with everybody. Okay,
that's an awesome story, and I miss cousin China being on your channel as well.
Me too,
she
man.
sucks. She abandoned me.
The Twilight series is still the best series you guys did together. If you guys, if people listen to me, if you guys want to laugh, go watch the Twilight series of videos on Rashad's channel, where his cousin China made him watch. It's the inspiration for our Tit for Tat series.
Yeah.
The reason we collab the way we do, that I even do collabs with people, is because of that series, bro. 100%. Like the fact that you guys made each other watch movies, and felt like 9 times out of 10 she didn't watch the movie that you assigned her, but you watched Twilight though, and so it just turned into you talking about Twilight instead of talking about the other movie too. That shit was hilarious.
It's great when you get us on camera, but it's like pulling teeth because she just, I don't know, she's camera shy and she's sensitive. Like she's afraid of people talking shit in the comments and hurting her feelings, because as much shit as she talks, she's a very sensitive person.
Right.
Yeah, but believe it or not,
I wouldn't have gathered. Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's I promise to share that about her. Go ahead.
Cool. Well, I was going to say, just to kind of backpedal a little bit very quickly on Anthony's story about the police and stuff coming in. I think the only time I've ever experienced like the police coming in was last year. Like my local cinema does like preview screenings before the movie comes out like 2 weeks later sometimes. And there was a movie called Pirates, and it was like a British kind of like comedy, coming of age kind of story. And right at the back row, I didn't realize this until I was like leaving the movies, but like right at the back row, because when you guys are watching a movie, at least here in the UK, so you guys have to tell me if they do the same in America, but cinema staff normally come in through the movie and they'll have like binoculars, so they're looking out for like phones or like bright lights going off, like recording equipment. Do you guys notice that at all? Or
I know that it's a thing here that like some theaters, like when I worked at the theater I worked at, like they call them theater checks. It's like a thing they want you to do as an usher, do a lap, check the theaters, walk up about halfway through the stairs. I know some theaters have the binocular thing, or like the thing where you can kind of see in the dark, but most theaters don't, and most theaters don't do it. And more often than not, I feel like nowadays I rarely see ushers come in and do any theater checks at all.
No, I mean I used to see it, but not too much anymore.
Yeah, not like, anymore.
Probably the most I saw it was between Infinity War and Endgame. Like they were checking a lot because I guess they were afraid of people, pirating it or whatever. You know what I mean? But I don't see it no more.
Right. Well, I'm guessing that it's more common in the UK, because I mean, especially like what you guys were saying, like usually for like the big movies that's just come out or like a preview screening, they're in there like quite a few times. Just to make sure, obviously, for pirating. But anyways, this story about me going to see Pirates. So again, I went by myself. And I was watching the movie. It was an all right movie. But by the end of it, I saw like the cinema staff coming in like a couple of times with the binoculars and without it. And what I noticed was so I was like sat in like near the back, but like in the middle. And I was leaving, and then in the top right hand corner, just above the stairs, that had like 3 rows of seats. And then there was a guy sat there, and he looked a bit rough, of like in the UK, if they wear like jogger pants and a particular type of shoes and stuff, you get classed as like a bit rough. Okay. I don't know, it's just a UK thing. But anyway, so he was sat there. He looked like he was kind of hopped up on something as well. And so what happened was, by the end of it, I was leaving the cinema, and then there was like about 5 cinema staff, but then there was like 2 police cars outside as well. And I think ultimately what happened was this guy had some equipment on him, and he was recording the movie. And it was just crazy because I had never experienced like the police being at a cinema ever.
Oh wow.
And it did. So what about you, Rashad? Have you ever had police at the cinema?
Not okay. I never witnessed the police at the cinema, but I was around for the aftermath. So the theater I used to go to when I was living in New York, it was like, we had 2 theaters. We had one that was in the hood that played all like the black movies and the horror movies, and then we had the big theater that got all the big movies and stuff, right? So so the big theater, they were screening they had Godfather 3 had just come out. And then there was a shootout, and I'm like, out of all movies, Godfather Part 3. But there was a big shootout at that theater, and then like that same weekend, I forgot what I went to go see. It was like one of them B action movies. But when I went there, they had metal detectors, and they was like searching everybody. So so going there a couple of weeks ago, you just walk in, no problem, and just sit down. Now it's like, okay, you have to go through these metal detectors. They scan you, search you, make sure you have no weapons. Okay, now you can go in. They're like watching you like a hawk now. And I'm like, well, damn, what the fuck happened here? But yeah, there was actually a shootout at the theater I used to go to, which was kind of common back then. Yeah, it was kind of common back then. Like Boys in the Hood, I remember there were some shootouts where they had to pull Boys in the Hood. I think New Jack City. So that was a time of shootouts in movie theaters.
I don't think we've ever had one of those in the UK.
Yeah.
Don't think so. Not as far as
maybe because they was pissed off Godfather 3 was so bad. I don't know, because it is the weakest of the Godfather movies, so maybe they got mad it wasn't as gangster as they wanted it to be.
Right. maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Perez, I'm going to hand it back over to you as well, because I got a comment here from Sophie saying, I remember reading in the cinema stories about people finding cucumbers after like 50 Shades trilogy. Did you ever experience that? Were you working in the cinema?
No cucumbers, but I definitely, of course, people would the occasional, I left my phone, I left my hat, I left my wallet, that kind of thing. But there was also a couple used condoms we discovered for sure in a couple of theaters, stuff like that. It just kind of comes with the territory. The reality is, like, depending on the area you're in and the busyness of the theater, a lot of times these people would buy, you would know it too, when like some teenagers would come up, like a couple would come up and they're buying like a ticket to like whatever, like, Kung Fu Panda 3, 11 o'clock a.m. on its 3rd week in theaters on a Thursday. I was like, oh yeah, you guys came here for Kung Fu Panda. Like, don't fuck with me. Like, you knew that showtime was going to be empty as hell, and you're going to sit in the very back and touch each other's hoo-has, and so
oh wow,
yeah, definitely moments like that, or just a lot of mess. That's one thing, man. Like, I have such a respect now for the movie theater employees since working there. Like, I always take everything I have with me to the trash. Right after, like, it just because, man, I mean, like, it was never a huge deal when I'd walk into a theater and like I didn't have much to do. Maybe it's been a slow day and somebody fucked up some popcorn on the floor. Like, it wasn't always the end of the world, but man, I'd come in there sometimes, dude, and the whole row would have all their drinks everywhere. Maybe the drink fell over and spilled and nobody told anybody, so now we got to get a mop and stuff like that before the next show time. You only have like a 15-20 minute rollover period, at least for when I was working there, until like the early pre-shows and stuff for the other showings start up, and you got people starting to roll in, or people that start to wait at the door. I'm sure you guys have had those moments that you're about to walk into a theater and they tell you, hold on, we're finishing cleaning it. Usually if it takes longer than you know, if you're thinking, oh, around this time, any other movie, I would have already been able to go inside. They probably fucked it up inside is the reality of the situation, like the customers before. So there's always that downside of like working there is like people are just freaking gross. But yeah, no cucumbers, but definitely some condoms.
Man, well, I feel bad for the people that have to clean the bathrooms because I don't know if y'all noticed, but for some reason, after you go see a movie, you go to the bathroom, the floors are just pissy as hell. I'm like, how can dudes, even kids, like my son's 6, and my son barely. I taught my son from an early age to aim at the toilet, so my son barely pisses on the seat. But it's like just the floor is just not to sound nasty, man, but the floor is like real just pissy. Why?
I don't get it, man. I remember one time, and we had this kind of stuff to happen too a bunch of times. I remember one time this homeless gentleman came in, and what's it called? He bought a popcorn or something, like a really cheap popcorn, I think, just so that he could ask if he could like get into the theater and use the restroom, because it was like the restrooms were past like the ticket booth and or like the ticket, like the turnstiles where they actually like take the ticket. And yeah, the dude asked if he can go to the bathroom, didn't even make it halfway, and from the ticket booth like turnstile thing, like was just one big trail of turd all the way down to the bathroom.
No.
Yeah. Whew. I didn't clean it, but I remember that the guy who did it, you know, you got that person that you work with that's like they're nice, but they're kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So like and they overreact to things, so they're kind of funny to see you get upset. I hate to put it this way, but that dude at that store that theater that I worked at, that dude had to clean that mess. He was the one that was tasked with it. And at one point he ended up getting some of this shit like on his shirt,
and that would have been my last day at work. That would have been my last day. I would have quit right then and there.
Same here. I mean, there's one thing, like, you know, if you work in a shop, which I've done in the past, and someone's like thrown up, because you got like the dissolvable, you got like the liquid thing that dissolves it into, like, you know, it's easy done, but shit, and the other hand, don't get
my last day at work. Hey, Rashad, go clean that. Go clean who? Shit, you go, man. Shit, I was raised better than that, Jack. You go clean that shit.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've also got D Maybe Man saying now he needs a t-shirt saying no cucumbers.
Oh shit.
And well, Darnell also says, hey Darnell, by the way, I also says, don't want to hear your story about Baywatch. Well, feel free to share it if you've got a story. And Sophie also said about the shooting when we were talking about before. She remembers about the Dark Knight one happened.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was actually scared to go see the movie after that happened, man. I was like, shit, what if I go in here and somebody goes postal? You know, because psychos inspired other psychos. You know what I mean? So you get a copycat and be like, hey man, I want to copy what this guy did. And so when I went to see Dark Knight, I made sure I sat right by the exits just in case I need to run about that motherfucker. You know?
I don't blame you. So do you guys in America still have like metal detectors and stuff when you go in? Or
it depends on the location. So for instance, I go to various theaters, but one of the ones I go to get into the area that the theater is inside of, you have to get to it's like an outdoor mall kind of. So to get into that outdoor mall, you have to go through metal detectors. Like they have security for metal detectors to there, but not for the theater itself. It's more just because of this location. But what's it called? Yeah, most like traditional theaters, you just walk straight into the theater. Like they're not gonna have any metal detectors.
Yeah, I think that was like a '90s thing, you know, because I don't think it's like that no more.
Yeah, no.
It's just, I just didn't know if you guys still had that, because in the UK, as far as I remember, like cinema experiences from being younger to now, I don't think we've ever had anything like that whatsoever. The only thing they do here is they might, if you have a bag, they might check your bag before you go in. But it's mainly because, like, in cinemas here, you can't take hot food in, but you can take any other food you want in regardless. So even like a tuna sandwich or whatever, if it stinks, you can take that in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a bit of a like different, like crazy, the contrast difference between like in the UK and you guys in America, because like you guys, you're not really supposed to take snacks in, right?
Yeah, well, you can't. You're not allowed.
You're not supposed to, but we smuggling shit all the time. Like, I've smuggled McDonald's in there. I've smuggled alcohol in there before. You know, you name it, I've done it, man.
The other day, not too long ago, what movie we were watching? I think it was The Northman. For The Northman, we went and got like this like chicken from like this chicken tender place, and like my mom got like a straight up like drink from the place and everything, and they gave us like this big bag, like that kind of just looked like a shopping bag to keep all our food in it. So what we did was we ended up we put my mom's drink in there, we stood it up, we made sure that it was held upright with the food and everything, and we put my mom's purse in there and my fiance's purse on top to make it look like we had gone shopping, and they just had their bags in there. And we walked straight in, nobody said shit, and we were sitting there munching on some chicken tenders.
Yeah. That's the best way to do it, man. Yeah, I've smuggled so much stuff in there, like liquor, you know. So I get in there.
Oh yeah.
I think I went to watch Prometheus, man. I got drunk as fuck. Watch Prometheus, man. The movie was like it made the movie better than what it was, because I like after the movie's over, I'm like, man, that was some good shit. And then when I watched it sober, I said, not so good. Yeah.
Did you do a review for Prometheus?
No, I wasn't a YouTuber yet. Nah, I wasn't a YouTuber yet. Nah, I've been to a couple of movies intoxicated. I think the most drunk I've ever been was when I went to see Blow with Johnny Depp. This was like 2001. You ever seen Blow? Oh no. Wow. Yeah. I went to see that piss ass drunk. This is back when they sold St. Ives. That's another 90s like malt liquor, you know. I was drunk as fuck, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there right now in another multiverse or whatever having a live stream like we're having, and they're talking about how I provided the worst experience for them because I was obnoxious. I ain't gonna lie. I was belligerent. I was talking loud. There was a scene that was serious, and I was laughing hysterically when I wasn't supposed to be laughing. And I'm pretty sure I pissed some people off that day. Yeah. So,
I can imagine. Well,
Blow is a great film. Yeah, y'all should check that out, man. That's one of Johnny Depp's best movies.
Yeah. Also, got a question. I definitely do want to watch that at some point. Darnell's got a question here, just saying, do the theaters you guys go to sell alcohol? Ours does in the UK. Do you guys?
Yeah, the one I go to is like a dine-in one, so it's got like a full like you can order food like burgers and chicken sandwiches and steaks and all that kind of stuff, and then it's like delivered to your seat that has like a little tray table and reclining chairs, and they have like a full bar and everything. So yeah,
but that takes the fun out of it though, man. Plus, I bet you a little shot thing will cost you like $10.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really buy the liquor there. Yeah. I don't buy the liquor there. It's way too. I'll get a beer here and there if I'm whatever. But like, other than that, like the liquor is definitely not worth it. Anytime I've ever gotten like one of their mixed drinks or their like margaritas or something, it's always like more juice than it is liquor for sure.
Yeah,
that's why I say it's better when you smuggle your own stuff in there, man. Just that just takes the fun out of it.
Oh, 100% agree. And Sophie, the same cinemas. Yeah, so we're definitely going to touch on that on another stream. But back to the horror stories. This is what I want to get. So, Rashad, your turn, man. Give us another story.
Another story. Oh, well, this is recent. Let me see. Well, I got a few of them. Okay, I can share this one. This is a recent one. I went to see The Northman, which I have to watch again because that movie, people like that movie. And I shit all over it. I shit all over it. So I got to watch it again. Maybe I was in a bad mood that day. Maybe I was just tired because I slept about 40% of it. But the best part was when, there was a certain scene that happens when somebody gets their throat slit, right? And they fall to the ground. Like, so they fall and you hear them off camera. So as they fall, all I hear is, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I said, holy shit, that's the best fucking surround sound I've ever heard. I said, what kind of speakers is this? And I can't breathe. Oh my God. I said, damn, that's some good ass sound. Come to find out, it was an old lady behind me gagging and choking because somebody had put on like too strong a cologne or whatever. Like, I guess they doused themselves with cologne. So she was like, oh my God, why would you spray all that at a movie theater? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So one of the people that was sitting next to was like, ma'am, you want me to call an ambulance? I don't need a fucking ambulance. Why would he spray? Just get him the fuck out of here. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And this went on for like about 2 minutes. So now I'm sitting there looking like, I think I just want to leave. I'm not enjoying the movie. And then she's coming with that I can't breathe shit. So I was like, the fuck am I doing here, man? As soon as the movie went off, right, credits start rolling, I get up and then here she comes again. Why the fuck would you spray that in a movie theater? That is so terrible. I said, yeah, time to go.
I just love how you dropped in, saying that you thought it was the best surround sound you've ever heard.
Yeah, I like dead ass, bro. Like I'm not even trying to be funny, man. Like I swear to God, like the timing of it, like as soon as the person fell, that's when she busts out and did that. So I was like, yo, that's some crazy. I thought I was like in Dolby. Like, damn, I know it's not a Dolby theater, but shit, that's close.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad for us. I know what it's like to sit next to somebody that like you ever be around somebody that doesn't take a bath and they stink, but they figure if they pour cologne all over themselves, it'll mask the smell, but it just makes it smell worse.
Right.
You know, that's probably what she experienced. And actually, real quick, I experienced that at No Way Home. Yeah, No Way Home. Myself, my daughter, and my son. Next to my daughter was this teenage couple, and next to me was a gay couple, right? And both of us were smelling like, whoa, what the fuck is that smell? And so both of us are thinking there's some people sitting next to us, but come to find out, it was the couple that was sitting next to me. So I was like, wait a minute, man. And it was two women. I'm like, hold up. I ain't trying to sound like an asshole here, but I'm like, okay, women are known to be very clean. They didn't smell clean. And I'm gonna leave it at that without being offensive. But it was the most god-awful smell ever. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, bro, honestly, there's nothing worse than going to see a movie and you're stuck in that screening with someone who just stinks.
Oh,
like,
man.
it's better if you're like working in a shop or you're walking past and someone smells, like, it's gone in an instant. But when you sat there for a 2-hour movie, for example.
Oh, it was like feet, corn chips, onions, ass, like all at the same time.
What's up, Q?
Q, what up, bro?
Q. Yeah, bro, I agree. So just very quickly, a couple of other comments to sell just with Rashad's story. Lego News is just saying, well, firstly, hey man, thanks for joining. He said, I'm so bored. I just usually get popcorn in the cinema. Popcorn and soda when he goes in the cinema. Cinematic sets,
combo.
Big blasters get snuggled. I don't know what that is.
I think he meant to say smuggles. That he usually smuggles in Takis
and dark chocolate. Ooh, Raisinets. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Never heard of Takis.
They're like Takis are like a chip. They're like rolled up, like kind of spicy chips.
Awesome. It sounds delicious. And so also says that she's dropped you guys a sub as well. So awesome. Thank you for doing that. Anyone who is interested in Rashad or Anthony's channel, which I don't know why you wouldn't, the links are in the description. So go give those guys a sub, go check out their videos and let them know that you've seen them on the stream. So yeah, man, I've got to agree about the people who stink. I've been in a couple of instances like that as well, where someone has stunk, but the movie theater is so warm as well, to the point where you've got the sweat patches going on, you got the sweat going on down here as well. And it's nothing worse. Man, like Forever Purge. So when I went to see that, I wasn't someone stinking, by the way, thankfully. But the movie stunk. But besides that, like the cinema itself. So me and my partner went. And like we got in there about 10-15 minutes before the movie started, and straight away as soon as you walked in, it was like a sauna. So I went out and I just said to the usher, I was like, oh look, I was like, the screen here is pretty warm. Would you mind turning down the aircon? I put on the aircon, and they're like, yeah, I'll come on in 20 minutes. I was like, all right, sound, no problem. So we sat in, and it was in like a smaller screen where it's only like 4 rows. It's like a very tiny one, and by the end of it, I had like a headache. I had like just like a drenched shirt. Damn,
that sounds terrible. Yeah,
I can't with anything like heat related like that. Like, and Rashad and I live in Florida, so if it gets hot inside of a building here, it's gnarly.
It's miserable. It is miserable.
Well, yeah. So I was about to ask you guys. Obviously, in Florida, it is boiling. I've been there a couple of times myself, but I've never been to like cinema in Florida, so I definitely want to do that. But I was going to ask you guys, so in America, is every movie got like aircon on, or like if you go out and ask someone to put the aircon on, like does it come on straight away or not?
I mean, I guess it all really depends on the theater and the area that you're in. Like the theater I go to is in a really touristy heavy like area, so it's got like that. It's got the budget behind it to kind of keep it well maintained. But yeah, like where I grew up in South Florida, down in Miami. I used to go to this theater all the time in an area called Hialeah, Only if you're from South Florida, you know what Hialeah is. It's essentially where, like, if you in all these years of the past, anytime if a Cuban has gotten off the boat, they go to Hialeah. It's just like this little section of South Florida that's like predominantly Hispanic, specifically Cubans. And there's parts of it that are a little ghetto, and there's a movie code down there that I used to go to all the time. I have so many fond memories of that theater, so many great ones, so many bad ones. But like, it depends on the theater. That one had moments where it felt a little ghetto, and there's other theaters that I'm sure Rashad can agree. There's certain theaters here in Florida, and depending on the area, that can be pretty ghetto.
Yeah, and it depends what movie you see too. So you're right. So the crowd that you have, like, say with Endgame, is not gonna be the same crowd if you go see something like, say, Girls Trip or like a Tyler Perry movie or something like that.
Right.
Two totally different atmospheres, you know. So you have one where it's like everybody's just watching and just really elegant and, oh yes, bravo, nice, you know. They have some things, girl, you better go on and get out. Hey, boy, that's crazy, ain't it? That girl, hey, man, you crazy. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I saw a couple Medea movies. I saw a couple of Medea movies on opening night, and in South Florida, and very different from like going and being like, I'm gonna go watch the new Thor movie on opening night. The audience from that movie and the audience or I saw like Get Out on opening night, and that one too had like a different kind of audience.
Well, Perez, let me ask you: when you went to go see the Tyler Perry movie, did they have church up in there?
Oh yeah. Like, I'm talking like, so I saw that one in like a little bit more of like a ghetto theater, and and just like it's just you've been in Miami, right, Rashad? You've been down there before?
Once.
All right. Well,
maybe twice.
It's almost predominantly like Hispanics and blacks. So like, the whole culture down there it's not very like, I'm here to watch Thor. 1 ticket for Thor, please. Like it's not like that down there. Even the white folk down there are not like that. Like it ain't like that. So you go to a theater down in those areas and you go see like like something like the Medea movie. I mean, you got the ladies coming through there with the big church hats on and everything, bro. Like the audience is specific, especially for a Tyler Perry film. Like his demographic is very specific.
Yeah, sir. Certain scenes will make the Holy Ghost come out of them when they get up and have church. And thank you, Lord. Oh, yes, sir.
The foot tapping. Lord. Yeah, the foot tapping. Yeah.
Be run up and down the aisles and shit. I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've been to a couple of movies where I would smell some marijuana. And,
oh wow.
Liquor. Oh yeah. They blaze up in there. Yeah, man. Oh
dude.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when just real quick. I remember that I was coming out of a pretty ghetto theater that was down in South Florida area one time, and I was still part of like the church, and I was a youth leader of this youth group, which I know it's like does not seem like who I am today, because it's not. But I was a youth leader of this youth group, and we came out of the church and we were all going towards like we came out of the theater because we had gone for like a little church like field trip, and I don't know why they chose this ghetto ass theater, to be honest, but they chose this theater. And on the way out, I'm walking with the kids, like teenagers and stuff, that I'm like their leader. I was like 18, 19 years old or whatever. They're headed to the bus. Here comes this like ghetto dude that's just like the stereotype, like just comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I know you smoke." I'm like, nah, you're good, bro. like, I'm like, I don't got time for this right now. My pastor's watching me.
Hey, real recognize real, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you spot that shit a mile away. Like, yo, got weed, she got blunt. We become best friends after that.
That's brilliant. Well, I actually wanted to touch on something, Perez. Yeah, you mentioned Hialeah, because I'm pretty sure there was one time when me and my family. So every time I've been to Florida, there's always been with my family, and every time we go, my dad always like looking in the pawn shops to see see what they've got, and we don't have them over here in the UK. So I remember we were driving through, and I can't remember where. I'm pretty sure it was Hialeah. It's beginning with a H. It was somewhere quite rough anyway. And my dad, he went into the shop, obviously just to go have a quick look. And what happened was, within 2 minutes, he was back at the car. He ran to the car.
Oh, shit.
And we were like, Dad, is everything all right? I was like, did you not find anything in there? And he was like, it's not. I didn't find anything. It's like the woman at the counter was like, "If you're just visiting here, you get the hell out of here."
Hey, smart man. Like, listen, I mean, how many movies have you seen where, you know, like somebody comes to a haunted house and the house says, "Get out," and they say, well, maybe we should stay and investigate. No, you get the fuck out of Dodge. So if you tell me warning before destruction, if you say you shouldn't be here, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Ask questions later. I'll ask questions as I'm running.
Right.
Same. What Sophie says here, do you remember the opening scene in Scream 2 where Jada Smith's character says, "Don't go there" while watching the film? There's also me watching films at home. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Yeah. I think horror's got to be the most dumbest genre where characters just like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to go in there. You know, after hearing a noise, you're like us guys would be like, no.
Yeah, but you know, and that's the best time to go to a black theater where there's like a horror movie playing, because like black people, we get real passionate and we get real like loud, like, yo, like, what are you doing, bitch? Don't go in there.
Right.
And I hope Freddie gets your ass, because you dumb as shit for going in there. Child, I would have got the fuck up out of there. Ooh, they got the right one today. Like, it's just an amazing experience seeing a horror movie with an all black crowd, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree, man. That's one of my favorite parts about having grown up in the South Florida area. Is just like, again, there's just that melting pot of a lot of different cultures, but specifically blacks and Hispanic. And you put those people all in a theater together for some movie that's like that calls for that kind of thing.
Right.
I can think of so many, but I can think of like one, like, I don't know, when I went to go see like When a Stranger Calls. You know, and that's a movie about white people. But when I saw it, it was a theater filled with black people, and there was this black woman behind me that was killing me the whole time. She's like, "This stupid ass white girl, like, come on!" Like, she was just like screaming at the theater the whole time, and she was so funny, man. And there was just, I've had so many like little things like that, like over the course of time, like very funny reactions to, like, obviously we're talking about terrible stories here, but
right.
I think we've all had like the texting thing, the on the phone thing, you know, the people talking in the theater. There was a guy that used to come with me to the theater, and I literally am not really friends with this guy anymore today, and I could never go to a theater with him ever again, because this dude would literally just lean over the whole time, especially if we were watching a comic book movie. If they introduced a character, he'd be like, "Who is that, and what do they do?" Like,
Lord,
watch the fucking movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta watch. My dad used to get pissed. My dad used to like lean over, like, and be like, "Dude, like, I didn't pay all this money to hear you talk." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think we've all definitely had that. But there's nothing like going to see a movie with a very reactive crowd, as long as it's within reason. You know what I mean?
Reason, Well, you know, my child's mother was like that. My child's mother, I would go to movies with her, and even to this day, I hate watching movies with her, because what she'll do is she'll fall asleep, right? And then she'll wake up and then ask me what happened. So she'll be sitting there knocked out, and all of a sudden she'll be like, well, "What's he doing that for? Why is he?" I was like, "You should have been watching the movie, man. Get the fuck away from me. You should have been watching. Why you getting all mad for? It's just a movie. I'm just asking what they doing." Like, drives me crazy, man. I hate watching movies with her, man. Yeah, like you said, Perez, it'd be like, "Well, who is he?" Well, I'm like, "Listen, I'll find out when you find out. If you just shut the fuck up."
Right. No, I've got to agree. There's nothing worse than like someone talking in the movie. Like, you know, and that's the thing. Like, one thing I think I'm a bit envious of you guys. Like, when you have a movie experience and like the crowd, like, you know, the whole crowd's going nuts. Like, say, like Spider-Man, like No Way Home, or like Endgame. Whereas the audience here just like say when Andrew Garfield, they're like,
really, man. My theater went ballistic. Like, my theater, I have times with certain openings of the comic book movies, I have to see them another time. Doctor Strange was actually relatively quiet for the most part, outside of a couple of surprises. But like with No Way Home or with Endgame or Infinity War, any of those movies, man, like, I've had so many theaters. I mean, I'm talking like I can't hear the next couple lines of dialogue sometimes. Like, I have to, like, I always expect to see these movies and have a couple of moments where a couple moments of dialogue are going to be drowned out. Like, because these people are just like going to be applauding the whole time. So like Spider-Man No Way Home, the first time I saw that movie, there were chunks of dialogue that were missing from my memory from when I ended up seeing it. The second time I saw it, I still saw it in a packed theater. So I was more attentive to those little moments of dialogue, but same thing, just crazy cheering.
Yeah, that pop from the crowd was crazy. I think Garfield got the best pop.
Right, I agree.
I mean, Toby did too, but yeah, when Garfield showed up, yeah, they went fucking crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I'm saying they, like, I was one of them. I was up there too, you know.
Yeah.
I said, shit. I hit my son. I said, damn. I said, boy, you see that? He was like, damn, daddy.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think Garfield did get the best one. Like, because I went to see Spider-Man Went No Way Home at like 9 a.m. because our movies here start, like, for example, Doctor Strange. Our earliest show we had here was 7:30 in the morning. But yeah, like, definitely Garfield, I was most excited for that movie. Very quickly, so he says she feels sad because when she went to see No Way Home, she missed out on the hype and she was the only one that cheering, and she felt like a knobhead because she was the only one.
I can relate. Listen, I experienced the same thing with Endgame, so I feel you on that.
Yeah. Oh, same. Yeah, like when that happened, I just got goosebumps. I was like, shit. I was like,
yeah, but when you're the only one, and everybody else is looking at you like, the fuck is wrong with him? Then you're like, ooh.
Right.
I guess I am a nerd.
Right. Well, just before we wrap up, I'll tell you what, we'll go one more time. Perez, do you want to share one last story? Because definitely going to have you guys on to another episode in the future.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. I mean, yeah, going like what we were saying, I have all these kind of crazy stories of stuff with like having actually worked at theater, crazy customers, people freaking out. You know,
tell us about a crazy customer.
A crazy customer. So here's one. There was one time that this couple came up to. I was at the ticket booth, and they came up and they go, "Hey, are the police officers here?" Because we would on the weekends we would always have officers there because that's just when shit would get crazy. So they were there just to kind of just in case something happened. So we got to know these cops pretty well. So they were like, I was like, "Are the police officers here?" I go, "Yeah, is everything okay? Like, should I be worried?" They're like, "Somebody stole our car." I'm like, "Oh man, that really sucks." So I call on the walkie-talkie for the officers to come over and to the front, and they have the walkie-talkie of the theater as well, so that they can come up to the front. So they start storming up to the front. There's 3 officers. They were in the back, and like the manager that was with them came up too. So here comes 4 people storming up. Right. They start dealing with this lady. She's frantic. She's freaking out. Somebody stole my car. You know, she needs water, all this kind of stuff. Like, she's panicked. They're looking for a car. After about 45 minutes of dealing with this woman, we end up finding out that she actually parked her car on the other side of the mall that this theater was attached to, and just didn't remember that she had walked over. So it's not really like a theater experience, but it's more of like as an employee, that was just something I had to deal with. I'm struggling to remember of like here's a good one.
I was about to say, Perez, tell the story about when we saw Antlers and Beavis and Butthead was behind us making all that damn noise, and you like I saw you got red.
I was getting upset. Yeah. So when the movie ended, we talked to each other after it. We went to go see Antlers, and it was like an early screening, and right behind us there was these 2 guys, and they just were making comments about everything. And the movie isn't very loud. It's kind of a quiet movie. You know, at times there's a lot of dialogue, so there was a lot of moments where you just hear them like snickering and laughing or making a comment of like, "Oh, that wouldn't happen," or "Oh, that's stupid." And you're just like, dude, like at a certain point, like, you know, think these things, you know, like if you think it's stupid, think it's stupid, you know what I mean? Talk about it later on, but like during the movie, it's so frustrating. But yeah, that was one of them. One other one that just popped into my mind that was hilarious. It was at the Hialeah theater that I was talking about. There was this Hispanic dad and his kids up at the front, and this dude was just letting his kids run around the theater. I'm talking like bouncing on the empty seats, running up and down the rows. Like, he wasn't stopping them at all. And, we were flustered. We were frustrated. Everybody else in the theater was frustrated. And at a certain point, randomly, when these kids just kept bouncing on the seats, the dude sitting like 2 or 3 seats to the right of us, that was like closest to my dad, just gets up, takes his extra large Coke, and just fucking spikes it on the ground, just like explosion. So you feel like we felt like the soda like hit our feet, like hit our ankles, like as it's like bounced, like splashed all over the ground. And he just took off and never came back. And we ended up going out and complaining about what happened. We ended up getting like rain check tickets for the next time, like free tickets for the next time. So it worked out in our favor. It was for that movie, that Justin Timberlake movie, In Time. Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried. I thought it was a pretty good movie from what I remember. But yeah, that was happening while that movie was going on. And then I'll just end my portion here with actually one of my favorite stories of me ever in a theater.
Awesome.
That's it's not a bad one, but it's just one I want to share. Have you guys ever seen the movie Predators? Not Predator or Predator 2. Predator is the one with
Predators,
their on
with Adrian Brody.
with Adrian Brody, right?
Which
So
I didn't, but yeah.
what was that you said?
I said I wish I didn't, but yeah.
Oh, shit.
You know, from what I remember, I actually liked that movie, but maybe I need to rewatch it. But like this moment was my favorite thing about the entire experience watching the movie. So there's a scene in the movie where our heroes are, being hunted by what they think is a predator, and it turns out to be a human that's been on this planet this whole time. And when he takes his helmet off, that looks like a predator. It's Lawrence Fishburne. Great moment, cool, sweet moment for anybody who remembers seeing that in theaters. Q's with me. What's it called? So the guy takes off his mask. The music swells up, and it's Lawrence Fishburne. And the kid that's sitting directly in front of me just goes, Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, no.
I will never forget that moment. And for the rest of it, his dad leans over to him. He's like, no, that's not Samuel L. Jackson. I'll never forget. He put his arms up and everything. He goes, Samuel L. Jackson.
Wow.
Like, I'll never forget that moment. And
how the hell do they always get confused? Because they look nothing alike. I never understood that. I know they're from the same era, but even their names don't even sound alike.
Yeah, like not even close.
Even Q loves that one.
that was such a funny moment for me. I also had this is just a tag on, but I had one not too long ago where I went to go see Infinite Storm, and the movie's really quiet, and was not a lot of people in the theater, but there was a family that had a mentally handicapped child in there. And they were just kind of like making obviously, I'm sure you guys know the noises that, individuals who can't control it, kind of just the involuntary noises that they make. That was going on the whole movie. So it's tough to even really complain about that one because, I don't want to be rude, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like I felt bad, but it was kind of like I wish the parents had kind of taken them out, had that decency, courtesy for everybody else in the theater. But of course, you don't want to be rude because they're sitting in there, and like they should be able to sit in there and watch the movie just as much as anybody else. But then it's not like we're watching an action movie where it can get drowned out a little bit. We're watching like a quiet character study that has like almost no music in it, so that made it a rough experience. But anyway, that's the last little bit I have to add on.
Nice.
Like touching on that, Perez, remind me of this. Gonna be my last story. Remind me of have any of you guys heard of a movie called Status Update?
Status Update. Nah, I never heard of that one.
Well, basically, it's like a teen movie, and it's like this guy gets like this wish, and he's trying to impress this girl. So anyway, again, went by myself, and I just thought, it looks corny, but I'm gonna go see it anyway. I like go see any movie I can, basically. And anyway, I was sat down in the seat, and then at the front there was this guy and this kind of like teenager, and as things were going on, he was like, "Whoa, whoa!" And I was thinking, "Fuck's sake, shut up!" Right? So as it went on, and this guy, because he does this wish, he gets talents as he's like Bruno Mars, so he starts singing a Bruno Mars song. And then this teenager gets up, starts dancing. I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, seriously, wow. Like, what is he doing, right? So I was like, as I was that close, I was like, I'm going to go down to this older person. I'm going to say, like, what are they doing? Yeah, it turns out they were on the autism spectrum.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
So I'm glad I didn't go down. And obviously I meant no offense by that, but I'm glad I didn't go down and say something, because otherwise I would have looked like a right dick.
Right. That's one of those situations where you're put in a tough situation, because it's like it's inconsiderate of the parents, but then it's like you want, those people have just as much as of a right to be in there watching the movie, but then it's like everybody else in there paid money to actually be able to watch the movie.
Yeah.
It puts you in an awkward situation.
Well, the thing is, very quickly to add to that, I'm not sure if you guys do it in America, but in the UK we do special autism screenings for like that experience. So if you're going to go into them, there's going to be kids or adults or whatever on the spectrum, and that's what you're going to kind of get into. But obviously some people don't think of that, I guess. So that's fair enough. Rashad, do you want to end us up with a last story?
Well, kind of similar to what y'all experienced. One thing I can't stand more than grouchy old people in the theater and old people that gag and cough throughout are whining ass babies. And for some reason, this individual decided to bring their infant child to come and see Joker out of all movies. I believe it was Joker. It was, yeah, I think it was Joker, yeah. So a serious-ass movie like Joker, they bring their infant child, and the whole time, me and my daughter trying to watch it, you just see the baby just crying the whole time. And, you know, and me, I have some, what's what I'm looking for, where I'm like, okay, I understand as a parent. You know, I try to be rational about these things, but in this moment, I'm like, dude, take that crying ass baby out of the theater. Why the fuck would you bring him in here like that? I can see if they were going to see Shrek or something like that, but why would you bring your infant child to see Joker with a bunch of adults and bring a crying ass baby on top of them? Like, stick a pacifier in his mouth or something. Get that whining ass child the fuck out of here. Oh yeah, babies are the worst. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and then you find yourself getting mad at the baby, even though they didn't do shit to you.
Right.
You just want to take the baby, just say, and just throw it, you know. So okay, yeah. And then real quick too, man. This just came to me, bro. Okay, y'all seen The Mummy Returns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you gotta think. Okay, I know now that movie's the butt of a lot of jokes, but at the time, that shit was large because The Rock was like, you know, he was at the height of his wrestling fame, and this was his first movie. So being a big wrestling fan, I was like, shit, I can't wait to see this because The Rock is in it. So it's right where that first battle takes place, right? Where you see The Rock as a Scorpion King. And he does that, you know, ooh, yeah, caliente, or whatever the fuck he says, and they start charging out, and then the screen just goes and goes to black. and we're sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? So you can hear him doing something up there. So we're sitting in the dark for like 10 minutes, and we're like, hey, man, what the fuck is going on? So finally, somebody comes to the intercom and says, we apologize for the inconvenience. We're having technical difficulties, but we're going to give you all a rain check to come back and see The Mummy Returns. But unfortunately, you can't see it now. Something along those lines. So we get right to what I'm coming to see. The Rock kick ass, and the screen just goes black, and they give us rain checks. We got to come back and watch. I think I came back like the next day. I was mad as fuck, man.
Right. Yeah, I'd be pissed, man. I had something like that happen when I saw Snow White, but not like the one with Kristen Stewart that they did, like they did a sequel, like Snow White's and the Huntsman, but I'm talking about the first one. Yeah, so they did a Snow White movie, and the power in the whole theater went out, and so the theater just went to pitch black, and it was just me, my sister, and my dad, and we just sat there for like 10 minutes. Like everybody just sat there. Nobody moved. Nobody even tried to move. Now I think about it, like we just kind of sat there and talked to each other, like thinking, oh, it's gonna come back on, and then it did come back on maybe like 8 minutes later.
Well, Lisa came back on there. They just whatever they did. Well, this is back in 2001, so I guess they didn't have the stuff that they have now, but they just said, hey, man, we're sorry. Rain check. Come back and see it again some other time. Like, come on, man. Yeah.
I'd be pissed, bro. I'd be pissed.
I was mad as hell, but then in retrospect, I guess it wasn't too bad because I saw the movie, and then when that reveal happened at the end, when we saw The Rock in full CGI get up as a Scorpion King, boy, like this is even back then. We bust out laughing because it looked like so fake and cartoony. We was like, what the fuck? What the hell did they do to The Rock, man?
Yeah, they definitely done him dirty in that movie, and even now it doesn't hold up at all.
At all, yeah. Well, even the Scorpion King movie, I watched that one time when it came out. I haven't watched it since, so I'm curious to see how that one aged as well.
Probably horribly.
I was trying to rewatch it a couple of years ago when I started the channel. Some of the earlier reviews I did were for the 3 Mummy films with Brendan Fraser, and Haley and I watched the Scorpion King in that run, and the only reason I did not review it at that time was because I fell asleep during that revisit.
Oh wow!
And I wasn't as serious about YouTube as I am now. Where like today, I will prepare myself to watch. So I fell asleep and I just stayed sleeping. And so that's why I was like, maybe whenever I do properly rewatch it, maybe I'll just do a rewatch of the original and then watch all the sequels that have recasted Scorpion Kings and pretty much every installment that have zero to do with the Mummy films at all. I've never seen any of those, but maybe maybe one day I'll just do a full Scorpion King binge.
Yeah, same here, bro. Yeah, I watched that first one once and I never went back to it. That was probably I probably would put that up there as one of my worst ones because I couldn't watch the damn movie. Like we had to get up and leave.
Right.
So as we walk out, they're giving us these vouchers. Like, okay, sorry for that, come back. Sorry for that, come back. But now I'm going home empty-handed. Like fuck, I ain't get to see the Mummy Returns.
Right.
Yeah, I was mad, man.
Especially as you went there to see The Rock as well. Just about to happen.
Yeah, the Rock at the time, he was my favorite. He was my guy right behind Stone Cold. You know, it was Stone Cold and The Rock, so I was a huge fan. And they did that to me.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Well, I'm gonna just basically stop the stream here because I just want to firstly thank Anthony and Rashad for being part of Volume 1. Definitely going to have you guys on for another episode in the future. But just very quickly before we sign out, Perez, if you just want to go first and just tell everyone what you've got going on your channel coming up.
Yeah. So as I was talking to the guys at the beginning of the stream, and I mentioned it when D Movie Man commented, I literally just now finished uploading my review for Jaws featuring D Movie Man. Full breakdown of the first movie. Really happy with how the video came out. It's currently still in private, so it'll probably be dropping somewhere within the next hour. But yeah, check out that review, that collab. That's pretty sweet. Just dropped X-Men Days of Future Past collab with Blacktastic Media. And then Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you live. With Rashad here as my guest for that one. And I got a collab coming up for the 1990 Captain America coming out very soon. We're going to be covering that on the channel. Tonight, I have tickets as of right now to go see the remake of Firestarter tonight in theaters. But I did find out actually this morning that they did a day and date release with Peacock. So technically, since I have Peacock, I could literally turn it on right after this and watch it from the comfort of my house. So I'm unsure if I'm going to go to the theater and cover Firestarter tonight or not, or if I might go to the theater and maybe catch something else that's exclusive to theaters right now. I want to go to the theater, but I find myself demotivated to go when I know I can watch the same movie like at home on the same day. But I got plenty coming out on the channel. And as far as with Mike specifically, Mike is going to be joining me soon as we month to month start covering the Land Before Time animated movies.
Nice.
So that should be. I did not know that there are 14 of those movies. I don't know when 14 came out, but we're going to be covering. It's going to take us a little over a year, but we will be covering month to month, one movie a month, Land Before Time. So that should be a lot of fun.
Get the fuck out of here. 14 movies?
14. I've only seen the first one. I've seen the first one for sure, and I've maybe seen the second and third. But bro, when I saw I got the collection. They got a full collection. I bought the collection, or I got it for Christmas, and I've been meaning to get to it. And 14 movies, bro. I was like, dude, this is gonna be crazy.
Wow.
I don't expect them to be good after a while, but yeah.
I've never seen any of them, so I'm in for a ride. I think from what I've read, I think the first one got like a theater release, and then all the rest are just straight to DVD.
The first one is great. I'll tell you this right now. The first one, from what I remember, is a great movie. It was a great childhood movie, and it is a tearjerker. It has super sad moment. It's one of those movies similar to like a Fox and the Hound or like Bambi, where they just rip your fucking heart out.
Right here.
So it's one of those animated films that has like a really like heavy element to the movie while also being cutesy and fun and whimsical. But based on the box set, just looking at the box set, something tells me that once we get past 3 or 4, it's gonna just start turning into just blocky kid nonsense. So we'll see what happens.
Well, nice. I'm excited to see them. But yeah, if anyone who hasn't checked out Anthony's channel, please go ahead and check them out. His videos lately with Blacktastic on X-Men Days of Future Past is awesome. The one with Rashad is a must see. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Very quickly, I just want to say Sophie says, thank you for a great stream. See you tonight. Yeah, so firstly, Sophie, thank you for seeing the stream and contributing. Q also says, good to know Firestarter on Peacock as he didn't want to go to the cinema to pay for that. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be watching that. I didn't know it was out tonight, so I'm definitely watching that. Okay, have you seen the OG Perez, the OG Firestarter?
Yeah, I have seen it before. My plan was initially, and I got caught up with collabs, and I didn't even do some screeners I had for this week because I just got caught up with it. But my plan was to watch the original again this week and then do like a double feature review of both the original and the new one. But if I do end up covering one right now, it'll probably be the new one, and then I'll maybe like revisit the original.
I think that's what I'm gonna do as well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To be honest though, like you guys have that service where you get the same release on the same day as the movie theater. We don't have that. So I mean, up to you guys what you do. I'd probably recommend just seeing it at home. You can see it now, watch it, get a review done quicker, and then go see something else at the theater.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Is like if I was thinking about like maybe going to see Everything Everywhere All at Once again, like something that's like exclusive to theaters. I saw that. I still haven't seen that new Liam Neeson movie, Memory. I've heard it's terrible, but if I'm gonna go to the theaters, I want to see something exclusive. Maybe I'll just go rewatch Doctor Strange. But if I end up choosing Firestarter, then that review will be up later, and I'll probably end up just watching it from home. To be honest.
Awesome. Well, for anyone who isn't subscribed, the link is down below for Anthony's channel. And Rashad, what have you got coming up? Because I know today you've just dropped a new episode of You Ain't Shit, which is Peter Parker, which is brilliant, by the way.
Oh, man, thank you. I had to get it off my chest. I've been holding that in for a long time, man. And just like, when you relieve yourself, you just feel lighter, you feel better. And I feel that now, so I'm glad I got that out. So, yeah, Peter Parker Ain't Shit. Check that video out. Just dropped it today. And after that, I'll be guest reviewing Firestarter, so I'm watching that today. And I might drop that review either tonight or tomorrow. And then, of course, the what else I got coming? Oh yeah, me and you, Mike, we have Rambo coming up Sunday. Yeah. And and I'm also collabing with Big Rob Theory on Saturday for the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk movie. I'm excited about that one. Yeah. Always love talking about the Hulk, man. So I hope Rob ate his Wheaties, man, because you know what I mean. And yeah, Q. Yo, matter of fact, yeah, Q, yeah, me and you need to link up because Q's never watched Top Gun, so right before Maverick, we need to talk Top Gun. No doubt.
I've never seen Top Gun either.
You ever see Top Gun either? Oh man, I'm gonna have to get both y'all on there, man. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, don't worry. I've seen Top Gun many times. I am gonna do a rewatch and probably do like a review roundup for the 2 when the new one comes out. But
yeah. So so as of going to the movies, I'm saving my pennies because I definitely want to see Top Gun at a Dolby theater. Which here it's like $21 a damn ticket. So I'm gonna save my money for that. Yeah.
You should get a. Where do you go to an AMC?
Well, the theater I go to, the closest one to me is it's called Amstar. So that's the one I go to mostly. So I go to AMC when it comes to movies that Amstar doesn't get, like most of the independent movies and like the A24 joints. That's all at AMC.
Gotcha. Well, I was gonna suggest I would like AMC A-List, bro. That thing has saved me so much money. Pay $25 a month. You can watch up to 3 movies in a week and have up to 3 reservations set at a time. So I already got my Dolby tickets for Top Gun and my Dolby tickets for Jurassic World already. And what's it called? No extra charge for like 3D, dine-in, or Dolby, bro. Just the $25 a month. It's honestly a steal because, like you just said, it's $21 a person for Dolby.
Right.
You don't have to pay that with A-List. You just pay the $25 a month. It's a steal, honestly, bro. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, no, I think you just sold me on that, man. Because there was something that came out a few years ago, if y'all remember, called Movie Pass. Remember that?
Right.
Yeah, I had
competition to that. Yeah.
Yeah, Movie Pass was like that was God sent, and just like the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Because Movie Pass was a steal, man. Like y'all pay $10, you just got to see any movie every day.
Yeah, that was a terrible business model on their end. Like they weren't able to sustain it whatsoever.
It was, but for us, like for a moment, y'all, I was balling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would go up to the usher and be like, "Yeah, charge it to the game, baby. I'm gonna see Infinity War for the 3rd time.
Right.
Charge on that right there. You know, I thought I was the shit. And then one day I went to go see what's that new Mission Impossible movie? I said, "Hey, charge it to the game, baby. I'm sorry, Movie Pass doesn't take this one." I said, "What?"
Movie Pass.
Yeah, Movie Pass was something, man. It was really something. They tried.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so like in the cinemas, just very quickly, in the cinemas in the UK, I have something like a cinema card, like you guys have, like Perez has. But with ours, you can go see as many movies as you want all day, every day. So I think I've been to see 4 movies in one day once.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was wondering how you did that, Mike, because sometimes you'd be like, "Yeah, this is my 20th time watching No Way Home." I'm like, "Man, you're spending a lot of money on that damn movie. It ain't that good now." That's how you was doing that shit.
So yeah, same. I think it's about the same price as you guys have per month. But yeah, you can literally go many times you want every day.
That's crazy. Wow.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to do that. What's it called? AMC. What is it
AMC A-List? Yeah, A-List.
Okay,
it's pretty dope, man. It's honestly so convenient. And once you see tickets are available for something, you just lock in your seats and you don't got to pay any extra money, bro.
Nice.
It's still worth it, especially if you can only like, you know, with work and stuff, you can only make it out to the theater like once or twice a week. Like most times I don't even make up my 3 movies per week. You know what I mean? But it's like you go to the movies twice and you already got your money. You already like got your money back essentially.
Yeah, no, that is a steal.
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just also wanted to shout out Rashad very quickly. So yeah, he's got some awesome content coming on his channel. I'm going to be on his channel on Sunday, and again, I'm going to be collabing with Perez very shortly. So Rashad's link is also in the description below. Please go subscribe to his channel. And yeah, lastly, I've got a live stream tonight at 9 o'clock, just my weekly live stream, C Talks. So feel free to tune into that. And then besides that, I don't know what else I've got coming for the week. So I just want to thank my guests, Anthony and Rashad, one more time. Just thank you guys for being here. Do you have any final words before we sign out?
Nah, man. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah, this was fun.
Awesome. But yeah, definitely plan to have these guys on the stream in the future. And until then, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.